Hey everyone, welcome back to another podcast for Commander Tax. Here we are at episode 12. If you're new to the channel, check us out, leave a like and subscribe. We've got all sorts of different content for you that is always coming out. We've got podcasts, we have deck techs, and we have games, as well as announcements. If something like really dramatic happens in Magic, we'll throw it in the announcement and we'll get it out to you guys to try and give you an up-to-date news. So our podcast series is where we cover all of the Magic the Gathering news, updates with us here at Commander Tax, and it's an exciting journey that you can follow along and check us out. So this week, here I am. I mean, if you don't know me already, my name is Cory. Normally, Quin is here. He always is with me with the podcast. But unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it this week, so it's just me. So without further ado, we're going to talk about tonight's topics. Tonight's topics, we have Magic the Gathering Legends, or Magic Legends. Magic the Gathering comes to iOS, as well as Strixhaven. So Magic Legends. So in last week's episode, Quin and I covered the beta premiere of Magic Legends, and I gave it a whirl. If you haven't checked it out, check out last week's episode and see what Magic Legends is all about. I tried it out, and to be honest, it's a pretty cool concept. It's cool to see how they executed the cards and put in the element of Magic, what we know of casting spells. They threw that into a MOBA slash MMORPG. So I don't know if there's a term where you can combine the two, but it was really cool to see that come together. It is in beta, so there are limitations. Right out of the gate, after you build your character, you're in a cutscene, and I honestly wasn't impressed by the cutscene. It was very outdated graphics. It looked like I was looking at World of Warcraft back in 2002 when I was only I was such a little kid then. So it's like, just seeing World of Warcraft, that's what it reminds me of, and it's like we're in 2021, we're 20 years past that. Why is the graphics so terrible? And then as well as the dialogue didn't match up with the lips that were speaking, and the story is kind of lame. It's one of those like, okay, we've got a baddie that is up to no good, and we got to team up and band together as allies and take them down. And it's like, really? This is a little cliche. But the gameplay is really cool when it worked. The gameplay was awesome, really cool visual effects, seeing all of the different spells cast. I played as white because I'm a white player and stuff. I love the white, even though it's so limited on so many different stuff, card advantage and ramp and everything. You don't really have to worry about that in a game like this. So I gave it a whirl as a white cleric, and it was great until I got into a big battle with some other random people, and then it started to lag, it got buggy, it became unresponsive, and it wasn't due to my internet. I got pretty decent internet, so it wasn't because of that, so it definitely needs some work. But if you haven't checked it out already, I definitely do recommend checking out just to see what it is. Have it downloaded because more updates are only going to come out in the future, and it's free, guys. Like, go check it out, give it a whirl, and see what it's like. All right, on to a similar note, we are talking about Magic the Gathering Arena. It just came to iOS. It's been on Android for a little bit in beta. It just came to iOS in beta, and I'm a bit more excited about this. I love Arena. It's my way of playing, the closest thing to Commander, which is Brawl, and I thoroughly enjoy Historic and Standard, everything on Arena. So being able to pull out my phone anywhere and load up and go into a match, it's super easy, it's super responsive. The touchscreen aspect is incredible. It's a little bit smaller on a screen, but you're playing a tabletop game on your phone. Like, that's pretty incredible. So really cool, and I'm excited to see their success with it, and especially they've got crossplay. That's something that almost every developer needs nowadays, and it has crossplay with PC and Mac players, so it's really cool. So, Strixhaven, I'm going to talk about an overview of the set because Quin and I are going to break down everything into details, and we're going to talk about it all in future episodes, especially when more and more cards come out. Right now, we got about 40 cards. By the time this podcast comes out, there's definitely going to be more. But Strixhaven is, the essence is, you're attracted by knowledge, possibility, and the promise of power. Young students and legendary professors have gathered to teach and learn. It's founded by the 5 Elder Dragons, and to put an end to a long-standing war, the campus split into 5 colleges to honor the founders. You've got Silverquill, Prismari, Quandrix, Lorehold, and Witherbloom. You've got some really cool mechanics. We've got at least 3 new mechanics. I'm combining 2, as well as modal double face cards are returning. So we've got Magecraft, lesson/learn, and ward. Magecraft has to do with instants and sorceries. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, you're going to do an effect, which is really cool. Lesson and learn is a really cool mechanic. So when you've got a spell that says learn, and when you cast it, it says learn, you may reveal a lesson card you own from outside the game and put it into your hand, or discard a card and draw a card. The lessons right now, it sounds like they're all colorless, which is going to be a really unique way to add a lot more like really powerful cards into your deck because they're colorless. And unfortunately, like we haven't gotten much colorless stuff in Magic besides artifacts and Eldrazi. So now getting lessons that are colorless, that's really cool that they can go in so many different decks. So that's really cool. It's going to be unique to see how that's going to play in Commander because we don't have a sideboard. So are they going to ban these straight out, or are they going to allow us to make a sideboard to be able to do lesson and learn? The last mechanic is Ward that we're getting. So Ward is a protection ability. So we're seeing Ward 2. I wonder if there's going to be some mythic cards that are going to have larger wards. But Ward 2 is whenever this creature becomes a target of spell or ability an opponent controls, counter it unless that player pays 2. So really cool protection in this case. I mean, it's really powerful because someone wants to cast that Path to Exile and exile one of your creatures. Boom, Ward 2 stops them because you're going to be like, no, you got to pay 3 total, not just the 1 for the Path to Exile. So that's really powerful, and I think that's going to see a lot of play in Commander, is having a little bit more protection. Not as powerful as Hexproof, of course, but it's going to be pretty powerful nonetheless. Next we have the lands, which are the Reveal Show lands, which is, I believe, similar to, I think the Reveal Show lands we got in Shadows over Innistrad. And like an example of this one is that you've got the enemy show lands, and an example is like the Orzhov one is, when it enters the battlefield, you got to reveal a swamp or a plains, otherwise that sucker comes into play tapped. Really powerful in Standard or Modern if you're able to have it untapped, so that's why they have that check and balance there. In Commander, I hate to say it, but a lot of times if you don't have card draw, or you don't have a ramp deck or some other means of getting more lands into your hand, it's going to enter the battlefield tapped just like every other tap land. So it's really cool to see those as our lands for this set. Next is Commanders and Planeswalkers. So we got the reveal of the 5 Commanders, and I'll point them up on screen. Quinn and I are going to talk about them in a later set, but it's cool. They got unique mechanics and they represent each different house. Planeswalkers, we've got Rowan and Will, which is a modal double face card. Wow, I'm impressed to see that, because we had Valky and Tibble, but it was a creature / planeswalker. Now we have 2 planeswalkers in the modal double face, and you pick and choose one, as well as Professor Onyx. You might be like, who in the world is Professor Onyx? Little did we know that's Liliana in disguise, because right now she's being hunted since War of the Spark. So Professor Onyx is going to be in here. And then we also has Kazima. So Kazima was in War of the Spark as a mono blue wizard basically, and stuff in that set. Now she's coming back as Simic. It's going to be cool to see the story with them, and we're probably going to get a couple more Planeswalkers too. So we're going to break down all of these categories a lot more, especially the Commanders, because we love Commander, but we're going to break them all down in thorough in future episodes coming out in future podcasts. So guys, ring that bell for notifications, stay tuned, like, subscribe, do what you must, because we got lots of content that you guys don't want to miss. Quinn will be joining me next week. Once again, my name is Cory, and I'll see you next time.